And then this noble joy comes, and that's the nibbana. That's the cooling of the mind, where you're no longer being born, reborn, and dying into new thoughts, feelings, and emotions. You see them for what they are. You see them as anicca, dukkha, anatta, impermanent, unsatisfactory by nature, and inherently empty of a permanent self. So why would you cling to any thought, feeling, and emotion? It's all going to come and go. This call will come and go. More people will come and go in the Sangha. Nobody really gives a fuck. Don't hold on to anything. Dhammarato, great teacher, he'll come and go, as we're seeing.
Yes.
Maybe then some assholes will take over. Maybe some great people, even better than Dhammarato, will take over. I don't know. The future's uncertain. And who gives a shit? Whatever happens, happens. It doesn't mean that we want bad things to happen. It doesn't mean that we're looking forward. No, but we're prepared. Sure, we hope for the best, but we prepare for the worst. You know?
And
what are you going to do?
How does one maximize preparation? I get the joy and happiness part, but other than that, is that the only thing?
Just be satisfied with the way things are. The Western mindset is, okay, I have nibbana, but I want the super nibbana. Okay, I'm satisfied, but I want to be really satisfied. And Dhammarato taught us good enough is okay. Things are not going to be perfect, but they're going to be good enough. You may not have all the money in the world, but you have some. That's good enough. You may not be perfectly healthy, but you have some health, and that's good enough. You may not have all the answers, but you have a couple answers. That's good enough. Can you be okay with the way things are, is the question. Can you be satisfied not knowing? Can you be satisfied not getting it right and not being the best and not being perfect, not being the most attractive and not having things go your way, not getting the wife you want, not getting the children you want, not getting the husband you want, not getting the friends you want? Can you be satisfied? And it's either yes or no, you know? You could bang your head on the wall wishing things are different. It's not going to do anything.
Yeah, I think there's momentum. Like if I've been practicing doing formal techniques and focusing the mind on an object with an awareness and bringing my attention back to that object. And on top of that, I do metta or instill feelings of well-being in myself and others. And I look at the line between myself and others and see how thin it actually is. When I do all that, then when I do get sick and I'm sitting there throwing up with food poisoning or something, I'm like, it's not that bad. I can laugh at myself, and that's good enough. Other times I completely lose it. And and then it might take days for or somebody else to hit me with a stick, and that's what the song is for.
So basically,
to get us out of our mud.
You're a human. You fuck up once in a while. Big deal. Everybody. I fuck up. I fucked up the other day. I got angry as fuck. So what? Can you be okay with that?
Yeah.
Can you have compassion on yourself and say, oh yeah, I'm just a person. It's all right if I fuck up. It doesn't mean you want to fuck up. It doesn't mean that you're encouraging yourself to make an excuse to fuck up more in the future. But can you be okay that you're a human and once in a while you're going to make mistakes? That's what being a human is about. If you were perfect, you'd be a fucking Buddhist statue or a robot, not a human. Ajahn Chah used to say, you know, everybody they think they're the perfect Buddhist because they can sit and not be disturbed in the mind and just smile like a chicken. And he's like, you know, I've seen chickens who can roost for months on end. Are they enlightened? Are they enlightened beings? It doesn't mean anything. What being enlightened, what having nibbana means is, can you be amongst the world? Can you think and feel and interact with other human beings and not be perfect and be okay with it? You know? Don't be so hard on yourself or take life so personally or seriously. It's no big deal. Give yourself a break.
Do you think that it's a good thing to have goals and maybe a little outcome dependency, or goals without outcome dependency? Like, yeah, I'll have the goal, and whether I reach it or not, I'll be okay. But just like to be prudent and um, imagine a future that you want and try to change the world for this, for that, because it's like not good enough, or it's perfection, but you're perfecting perfection.
Yeah. You're
If you
human.
want to take it like that.
You're human. You want to have some goals and some things that humans do. There's nothing wrong with that. The Buddha had many goals and he achieved many of them, but he wasn't crushed if they didn't happen just the way he planned. He wasn't crushed if they didn't happen at all. He was perfectly fine whether they happened or not. He didn't give a fuck. So you want a goals, go ahead. But it's not, don't fool yourself. Don't think that once you achieve some goal, oh, that only then I'll be happy. Then I'll be content.
Yeah.
You have to have
Or
wisdom in your goal achievement. Yeah.
When you don't achieve your goal, don't beat yourself up.
Exactly. Real laziness is not changing your dukkha into sukha, not changing your dissatisfaction into satisfaction or joy. That's real laziness. And that's the only real goal we need. If you have other worldly goals like opening a school or becoming a certain thing in a career, there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. We're human. That's what we do. We do all kinds of different shit. Some people become monks. Some people become kings. Some people become maintenance workers, whatever the fuck. It's all good. Yeah. That's the beauty of the Dhamma. It's not something that we have to strive for like everything else. It's available to us now. Because when we come back to the breath, that's why there's the emphasis on the breath that the Buddha showed us, is because when we have the breath, it frees us from this conceptual world that we're used to playing in all the time and getting burned in all the time. When we come back to the breath, we realize, oh, actually, we're all perfectly enlightened beings already. The only thing that will keep you from being enlightened is your karma, aka negative attachments and bad habits, your sankharas. Karma is not something mystical. Karma is when you do something you know you shouldn't have done and then you feel guilty about it, or you suffer the consequences of doing it. But now that we come back to the breath, we see that all of that's not really important or relevant. We're already free. Just don't create any more negative karma for yourself by fucking everything up. You know, be kind to people. That's why sila, morality, and metta, acts of loving kindness and compassion, are such a wonderful guideline for Buddhists, because when the Buddha realized when you follow those things, God, you really have nothing to worry about. You know, if every choice, every interaction that you come across, if you practice sila and metta, what the hell could go wrong? Yo, you don't think anything could go wrong, but what about this? What about that? That's for the ignorant people to argue amongst themselves. What could have been done better? What could have? If the person in their heart is earnest and they're working from a place of metta and sila, you can't go wrong. You're an enlightened Buddha already. You know, you have a cool mind now. I can see it. You're just focusing on your breath. You know, thoughts, feelings, emotions are going to come. Just see them for what they are. They're just part of the body, natural chemical process. You don't have to fight them. You don't have to love them. You don't have to hate them. Just live with them. Can you live with them peacefully? And most people can. That's why I always say Nibbana is not some magical, mystical thing. Being an arahant is not some fucking some bullshit that these assholes created it to be. It just means you're chill. But they want to make it something that it's not. They want to make it greater. They want to have a competition. They want to go to Harvard. They want to go to the best Watts. They want to be the best monk. And then they're playing around in the Dukkha realm again.
Yeah. I would agree with you on that. And then I would also say that it's good to have categories.
Can be.
And oh man, let me take care of my cats real quick. Hold on.
Go ahead, dude.
I'll be right back. They want to go out.
Ahead. Just chilling. Come on, baby.
All right, my bad about that.
Take your time, dude. Letting out your cats, tending to your cats is more important than anything we'll be talking about here.
That's funny,
that's actual Dhamma practice is being peaceful and kind towards other living beings. That's the real practice. This is just talking.
True. I hope others may hear this, though. They may get something out of it. And
maybe they will, maybe they won't.
Maybe I'll get something out of it. So there are some things with theory that I still don't understand, and I appreciate categories, and I appreciate not having to be categorical too, but like
healthy balance.
Yeah, healthy balance. But there are these words which I don't understand, which would be interesting to understand because they're out there, and maybe if there's the word pointing to a state of being or a state of consciousness like Sotapan, and a path that somebody in that category is like, yeah, I took this path and it really helped me get to this category, and somebody else is like, yeah, I took this path and it helped me get to that category, then other people can decide, hey, let me try out those paths. Maybe they're for me, maybe they're not, but it sounds like a pretty interesting state of consciousness to be in. I'd like to give it a shot. And just that wholesome, I'll give it a go. See what happens. I think that's fine. I don't know. Would you agree with that? And do you know what these categories are?
Yeah, they're just a bunch of bullshit. They're just another rabbit to chase like a dog, or a dog chasing his tail. Maybe if I get this right, maybe if I reach this level, then I'll become something really special. Because they can't be satisfied with the way things are. Ironically, when you don't want to be a Sotapan, when you don't give a fuck about being an abbot of a monastery, when you don't give a fuck about being an arhat, then you become one.
Yes. I understand that in my life with other regards too. Yeah.
When you're trying to get it right, where is your mind going? It's not going here. It's not going on the breath where everything's okay right here, right now. It's going into the character realm of the ego. I'm going to become something. No man, I heard Ajahn Sumedho say this the other day, no man can become an arhat. No man can become a Buddha. No person can become these things because it requires that person to disappear in order to become those things.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
So,
you'll be chasing it your entire life.
Is there a part of you that is a man?
On some level, there's just I'm a human, I'm a man, but it's just concepts, you know, it's just bullshit. But I guess if I had to describe myself as something, sure, for the sake of getting to, like Jay Krishnamurti said, for the sake of getting to our trains on time, for the sake of these material things, sure there is, but it's not a mystical, there's no self. There's just no permanent self that's really worthy of our attention.
No permanent self worthy of our attention.
Yeah. Buddhadasa Bhikkhu.
What you deem worthy is arbitrary.
Well, what you deem worthy is based on if it's going to bring more dukkha or not. And the Buddha said, anicca dukkha anatta, no permanent self. It's a big thing that causes a lot of dukkha. This idea of the ego, the idea of a permanent self. No mind, no problem. No ego, no problem. No person, no problem. But when the person's invented in the mind, then I got to become a Sotapan. Then I have to get to this yana and this yana. And then I have to do all this shit. And ain't I special?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Ain't I the best? Because
that can be a toxic way of looking at it.
That's whenever you bring in too strongly a person, a I, me, my, into any equation, you're getting yourself away from the moment. You're getting yourself away from gladdening the mind here and now. Because all of a sudden now I've taken off in the vessel of the ego, and now I'm off to the future. I'm off to the past in my ego DeLorean.
Yeah.
So
I know there's some people that claim that they're arhats.
Yeah, they're called assholes.
I would
delusional assholes.
Well, that may be most of them. I'm willing to
because all of a sudden now I've taken off in the vessel of the ego, and now I'm off to the future. I'm off to the past in my ego DeLorean.
Yeah.
So
I know there's some people that claim that they're arhats.
Yeah, they're called assholes.
I would
delusional assholes.
Well, that may be most of them. I'm willing to be open-minded and say maybe there's one or two or many that are not delusional assholes.
Nope, 100% of them.
I don't like to be
I'm just joking. A lot of them, yeah.
Closed-minded. I like to leave a little wiggle room.
Because
maybe it was only the Buddha, but
yeah. Go ahead. Well, the reason you don't want to close that door is because then there won't be any cheese left to go find in the maze. You want the possibility that there's something else beyond this, because we can't be satisfied with what's right here, right now.
Hmm.
There must be a magic perception. If I take ayahuasca, maybe if I do this, maybe if I go on this deprivation. And that's what the Buddha did. He was the best at it. His body would become emaciated to the point where you can see his ribs through the back of his body. He was the best. Nobody could suffer like the Buddha suffered.
Yeah.
But through all that, he learned, oh, I'm fucking stupid. I should have
He
just
found the middle path. Yeah.
been okay with the way things are instead of trying to bulldoze my way into happiness and in some realm that doesn't exist.
Well, you think you could relax your way into arhatship or middle path your way into it and just fall and all of a sudden, hey, look at that. It
Why do you
seems like
want? Why do you
I don't
want
have
to
a
be an arhat?
desire. I don't have a desire to be an arhat, but it seems possible that I could relax and middle path my way into it and then just look around and be like, oh yeah. If you say these are the categories, this is what it means to be a arhat, and then I examine my life and I'm like, yeah, it seems like I have checked all those boxes. I guess I am. I think that's
If you
fine.
can't, if you can't find peace right where you are, right where you sit, you're not going to find it anywhere else. That's what Dogen Zenji said, and I agree with him. Where are you going to
Yeah.
find it? If you can't find it here in your mind, you think it's on some other way, it's in some other path, it's in some other future, it's in some other. Because when you look around your room now, you're like, well, I'm just a dude in a room. And part of you's not okay with that. Part of you looks at your life and says, well, I wish this was different. Maybe if I changed my perception, that would be. And then you're on the hunt to become a Sotapanna and all this shit.
Yeah, it goes up and down. When I was
Sure.
just talking to you, looking around my room, I was perfectly fine and in peace the way things are
Until we start thinking about things.
until
Until we start contemplating.
until some sankara pops back up or some habit pattern, and yeah, thought loop.
Let's play a game. Let's say your life will continue on the path it's been on at this moment, and you will live and die as this normal, average dude who's moderately happy sometimes. Can you be okay with that?
I
Or
got
not?
this Puerto Rican music driving by.
Oh, nice.
Can I be?
Let's assume nothing changes with your perception. Nothing changes with your consciousness level of Sotapanna. Can you be happy with just this dude here, who you
Yeah,
are?
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think many people can be happy, and
But the but always inevitably comes.
I would
But
like it. Yeah, I would like there to be. You can be at
something
peace
more.
with what you are and be totally at peace in the present moment and in this moment and in that moment and in that moment and not need anything. And if you do that long enough, along with practice sila, um, you know, trainings in morality and ethics, then maybe that's the category where you are an arhat. If you're fine with what is and you're helping everybody out, may all sentient beings be happy. And
Yeah,
you're
that's
like,
you. You just describe yourself right now.
yeah,
So congratulations, you're an arahant. Feel any better?
yeah.
Feel any different?
I feel a little bit better. Yeah.
It won't last.
Just
That
kidding.
feeling won't last.
But did the Buddha categorize these things? Did he make the categories?
Well, they say he never wrote anything down. And again, we have to use the brain that God gave us. He lived 3,000 years ago. We have modern teachers. I've seen it with my own eyes. Modern teachers where the students couldn't recall what the teacher was actually teaching to save their fucking lives. So don't put too much stock into that shit. You know, the Buddha was awesome. He said some cool shit in the early parts of the Pali Canon, especially. And then later on, the monks kind of took over and they got a little culty and religious and they kind of created this whole dream world bullshit. But the Buddha didn't write anything down, they say, So, I don't think he gave too much of a shit about categorization. And then later on, the monks kind of took over and they got a little culty and religious and they kind of created this whole dream world bullshit. But the Buddha didn't write anything down, they say, So, I don't think he gave too much of a shit about categorization. He said, they say, and see, what's the cool thing about Buddha is you don't have to rely on faith. I could take somebody like Buddha Dasa Bhikkhu or Dhammarato and hear or read what they say, test it out for myself and say, oh, yeah, so that's what they got from the Buddha. That's what I'm getting from them. It seems from what I've tested, 100% scientifically accurate. So there's no need to play the Christian game of what did the original fathers say and how holy it was, which a lot of Buddhists do because they still have the mindset of the worldly mindset of birth and death, samsara, of avidya, ignorance. They want a God. They want levels. They want things to be difficult so they can study and become the best student. That's what they love. So the Buddha just said, you want to shave your heads, you want to wear robes, go off in the forest and do it. It's no skin off my back. And they did. And he probably was more for it at the time because they were kind of considered outcasts, weirdos, even amongst the spiritual people. And the Buddha probably thought that was hilarious. But had he known that it would grow into a religious kind of cult based on superstitious rituals and shit, he probably would have been like, what are you doing, man? Because now when I put on the monk beads and the robe, I'm really somebody now. And people, you can see it even in the song. People will just light up when there's a monk and oh, he has a golden robe and he has beads. Oh, how holy. It's holy dog shit.
Thinking about
yeah. It's just a costume you could get at a Halloween store. Oh, but he's part of a club. Big fucking deal.
All right. We we disparaged, we shit on the monks in the monastery. Now it's also time to give them a little credit because
sure,
it's nice to have a place to escape society. They had the orange robes, I believe, because prisoners wore orange robes, and they wanted to be like, hey, we're outcasts too. At least one type of monastery did that, if I can recall.
Turn off the water. Yeah, I heard they used to get the robes off like the corpses in the graveyards because they just didn't have money to buy fabric, and they were just like, and the funeral pyres where they would like bring the bodies if they were too poor to bury their dead, they would just wrap them in this cloth, and a lot of times it happened to be like auburn or orange or red, and they would just use that rotting corpse flesh wrapped around them. But now it's become fashion status and
yeah.
But you were saying, you had a good point. There's wonderful monks. Of course I love monks. I love Buddha Dasa Bhikkhu. I love all these people. There's wonderful monks who are in it for the right reasons, who know. And Buddha Dasa Bhikkhu used to grab his robe, by the way, and he would tell his students, this is just cloth. Don't be so hypnotized by it. See, that's somebody who knows what they're doing. But you see a lot of people with arrogance, and it's not good. In this day and age, it's almost more of a hindrance to become a monk than it is helpful. But solitude is quite helpful. And like you were saying, there is some monks who've done it and done it successfully. There's nothing wrong with becoming a monk. There's nothing wrong with a hammer. But again, it's how you use it. All these conceptual notions, how are you going to use them? To your advantage, to help others? Or are you going to cause destruction to yourself and others? And a monk is just another tool. It's like being a plumber. It's not special at all. What is special, though, is, can you change your dukkha into sukha? Can you go beyond liking and disliking, birth and death, here and
Yeah.
now, being okay with the way things are? That is quite special. Yeah, quite special indeed. Can you give up the bullshit of this world? Can you give up every search? A lot of people can't. And a lot of people who say that they're spiritual spend their whole lives looking for that golden carrot until the day they die, and they never find it.
Yes, call off the search.
Yeah, call off the search. Fuck it. And who cares? I don't know. Well, do whatever you want. I don't care what people do. So. I'm not here to convince anybody.
Wow.
Do whatever you wish. Set yourself on fire.
Yeah, but then I know I'm a human, and searching is going to be inevitable. I'm going to be searching for my AirPods later today, and
that's okay.
I'll be searching to turn dukkha into sukha.
There's nothing wrong with searching. It's only when it becomes dukkha. But a lot of people don't have the wisdom to see that it's dukkha. There's nothing wrong with searching. But a lot of people, in very subtle ways, the mind can trick us and think we're doing something special. And indeed, we're just causing ourselves dukkha. So.
Strange, it was just me and you today. I thought it said 90 people were participating, but I guess that's everybody in the call.
Fuck them. Yeah. When you tell the truth, there ain't going to be much people that stick around. But if I said, I'm from Thailand with my golden robe and big old beads, then everybody will come around, just like in the West. PhDs. You ever see Guru Vikings podcast? It's almost like a medical podcast because it has so much doctors on that fucking show. I don't know how you can have a spiritual podcast. Yeah, doctor this, doctor that. What the fuck? It's the academia podcast. Because we're hypnotized by the outside.
Credentials mean something to a lot of people.
In the physical world, it's all they see. It's all they see. But if they want to see the world that way, it's their choice.
Yeah. But shout out to Guru Viking though, because he's had a lot of non-PhD people and a lot of people that I like. And if it wasn't for that show, then I wouldn't have found you
personally. Only thing I know is on his podcast, I see a lot of doctors. Doctor this, doctor that. And it's just, people can be hypnotized by this bullshit. Oh, you're a doctor, you're a doctor. Break the spell. See people as they are. See what they're saying, not what little crayon is written above their head on some paper plaque. Some, you know.
There's
you have to, I don't know, it takes special eyes to see the world as it is. But people love the chains that bind them, so they love being fooled by bullshit. That's why snake oil salesmen are so successful. That's why the world is in the state it is. But anyways. Yeah, it was nice seeing you. Do you have any more questions at all? Love you, babe.
Nah, man, it was good talking to you.
You're awesome, dude. I had fun, man.
Yeah, from one arhat to another.
Yes, we're level 39, level 40 arhats, man. Everybody else is beneath us, huh? All right.
Stay blessed, man. I'll see you around. Peace.
Much peace and love.